Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
If you're anything like me, you have no desire to go scuba diving at all. I've seen the movies Open Water, and I have very little desire to go under the water. I can't breathe under there without an apparatus. I don't want to do it. I have no interest in doing it. But I'm not a huge fan of the water in general. Now, what we have here in a game by Yellow is an opportunity to scuba dive through our favorite thing, board games. And in Oceanos, I think that's how you pronounce it, you go scuba diving and you get to look at animals, and you get to look at treasure, and you get to go try to upgrade this contraption you have. It's a pretty fun little game. Now what you got here is a light family style game. This game is a little difficult, at least it was for me, to explain what's going on, only because it's kind of unique. Now once you get the hang of it, I'm talking about a 5-minute explanation here. I'm not talking about Food Chain Magnet or anything. 5-minute explanation, it kind of makes sense. I think you need to roll through a game. People will kind of see how it works. The crystals, I mean, it's a little difficult for people to pick up on. You need a green and a yellow. Because you're doing a family style, you're probably playing with a certain gamer, right? Hardcore gamers that are wanting to play Great Western Trail or Food Chain Magnet, may play this as a filler, but this is really designed for a family. So the rules can be a little tricky in that regard, only because of the family tag that I'm putting on it. Otherwise, I think it's a really fun little scuba diving game that many people might possibly overlook. But let me tell you something. This game looks beautiful. It plays really well. It's unique. And it gives me something a little bit different. I liked upgrading my contraption, my underwater apparatus. I like scuba diving for treasures. I like trying to get the coral reef. There's a lot of different ways to score points. You're kind of stuck with what cards you draw, but you get options. If you build up your contraption, you're able to get more cards, which is great because it gives you more options, more what you want to fill. But if you don't upgrade that, you're kind of stuck with maybe 2 cards, and you have to get what's dealt to you. Sometimes that can be great because you just drew the right cards, but the majority of the time, you're not going to get exactly what you want unless you upgrade your underwater apparatus, which you really want to do. But there's 5, 6, 7 different ways to upgrade it at any given time. So you want to, you have hard decisions there, or at least decisions to be made, because you don't really know what your next cards are going to be. So there's like a lot of little planning, and maybe you have an overarching plan to it, but it's not something that you have to be able to think 6, 7 plans down the line. Now, you got a little bit of pressure luck in putting scuba divers out. Because, you want to put them at the bottom if possible, but if you don't get any treasure cards that kind of line up, and I'll show you how this works in the overflow, then, you didn't maximize it as you could. If the right cards come out, that's great, or decisions kind of that are made, that's fantastic, but, that's kind of a little bit of pressure luck that's involved in this. Overall, I think there's a few things moving in this game. I really like it. I like the little ocean we built. My buddy who plays games with me weekly, but really plays because his wife plays with us, Anthony, he's like, I really want to take a picture of my ship that I built. I want to take a picture and make it my screensaver. And that was so out of character for him because he's really more along for the ride in games more than playing it. If his wife didn't enjoy games, I don't think that he would come over as often or ever play with us. But he's good at joining us, and it was very interesting to me that he was like, I'm gonna take a picture of the ship that I built. This is really cool, and he liked it because the artwork on it is just wonderful. The presentation of this game is right there. You're really gonna like that. It has a lot of pieces that kind of bring it up above where it should be because so much care was taken in this game. This comes from Antoine Bauza, who's a very famous designer of games. He's knocked it out of the park here. Now, this isn't a 10 game because to me this is a family game, but this is a really fun family game. One I think I'm going to keep around in my collection for a long time. I think once you explain to people and they kind of roll with it, it's a lot of fun. It's different enough that it has some things in it you don't see all the time, or at least it's hidden behind what's moving in the game so you don't notice that you've seen it before. This is what I'm going to highly recommend that you guys check out. It's from Yellow, which is a great board game company. They put out a lot of games, a lot of good games, and some subpar game in my opinion. But this is one of their good ones. Check this one out, Oceanos. I think the best way to explain this game to you at first is show you the ship. So what you're going to have here is scuba diving chit, and you're going to have what's called fuel. And when you start out, you have enough space for one fuel and one scuba diver. You have, this is worth 0 victory points. This has one propeller on it, which means you're going to draw one card each round for each propeller periscope you have, +1. So in this case, I'm going to draw 2. One periscope +1. In the middle here, what you have is how many animals you can score around. You can score 3 different animals, and it tells you right here, you might not be able to see it on the film, but a maximum of 6 points because you get 2 per point. And what you're going to be able to do during the game is you're going to be able to upgrade these. If you look here, each one has a single red dot on it. Later on, you'll see ones with 2 dots, which allows you to have 5 animals you can score with a maximum of 10. And this has 3 dots. You can do 8 animals and a maximum of 16. And each part that I showed you in this has an upgrade. So during the game, you may want, and I'll show you how you upgrade later, upgrade this to a 5, right? And that might be fun. And then later on, you might upgrade this to a 2. And then later on, you might upgrade the victory points to a 2 or even to a 3. Now, each ship that the game comes with looks completely different, has a different pilot, has a completely different look to it. The artwork is fantastic. I'm not going to show you everyone. I think that's easy to look at online. But just know that no 2 ships look the same. Now, on the back of them, just for easy reference, is the colors. This one happens to be the purple player. But there are other ones that you can do. So here's one of the other characters you can see, and some of the body parts. So each of them kind of fit into a really giant baggie with all the components each player gets. As you upgrade some of this, let's say we upgrade the front here, and now I can put 2 scuba divers on here instead of just 1. And the same thing with the fuel here. So this can be upgraded, and when it is upgraded, now I can have 2 fuel. So you always have a question about what you want to upgrade, because the front gives you more scuba divers. This allows you to score more animals, allows you to draw more cards, it gives you more fuel. This is going to score your treasure. This one's going to let you to play more cards in a round by giving these up. And the back just gives you victory points. So this is how the ship kind of works and how it plays into your turn. And let's take a look at the actual game. The game has 3 rounds. In round 1, you'll use the 1 level. Round 2, the 2, and round 3, 3. And this represents not so deep, deep, and very deep. So the cards are going to get progressively more powerful. Let me kind of show you a card. Here's level 1 card. You have 1 coral and 1 crystal. A random 2, a coral, and a base. You can see it's getting a little darker because it's getting down lower. And this one has a coral and 2 animals. Okay? So each of these cards are going to be a little bit different. And let me show you how they work. In round 1, whoever the captain is will hand out cards to all the players. You're going to get 1 card per periscope on a ship +1. So let's say you got 3. You look at what cards you want to play. Let me just kind of show you. I'll show you the different ways to score. I'll play 1 card down. And the other 2 cards I didn't play, I could give up a fuel that I showed you on the ship, and I could play a second card. So let's say I do that. Give up a fuel, and I'm going to play a second card. And then the card I have left over goes to the captain. The captain's the person that dealt the cards. He had no cards dealt to him. So each player within the cards that are going to discard goes to the captain, and he gets to look at those cards that everybody gave him and play cards out. And everybody's going to have a card set like this. So in round 1, you're going to have a flow of cards up there. In round 2, you'll be playing cards underneath. And in round 3, you'll be playing cards underneath this. If that makes sense. You're going to have 3 rows of cards. You're going to have your level 1 cards, your level 2, and then your level 3 underneath it. Now, what's interesting about this is that the cards are going to kind of interact with each other as you're playing them. So the level 1s, 2s, and 3s, you're going to have different ways to score them. At the end of each round, let me put some more level 1s out here. At the end of each round, you're going to score the number of different animals. So if you look here, I have 2, 4, 6, up to the limit, and here I can do up to 3 at 6. If I had a fourth one there at 8, if this was my body, my aquarium, I couldn't score more. You will also score points at the end of the game for having the most coral that's orthogonally adjacent. So whatever your largest one is. This is my largest one right here. 1, 2, 3. These two are adjacent, but there's no coral on this one, so it breaks it up, and this is just 1. So I would score 3 points at the end of the game. You also have these crystals. Now, whenever you play crystals in a row, and you have one color, when you play a base, you can upgrade. That's how you upgrade. If you have one crystal, you can upgrade a 1 to a 2. If you have a yellow and a green, which are different colors, not 2 yellows, not 2 greens, but a yellow and a green, when you play a base, then you can upgrade a 2 to a 3. And that's very, very important. That's how you upgrade your base. Now you're also going to have these treasure cards that will come out. This is a level 3 treasure. So let's say your board was set up like this. This is where you can put the scuba divers out. Now you have to place a scuba diver when you play a card. And you place a scuba diver on this card. So normally it's beneficial to put them on the bottom row, because at the end of the game, you're going to draw treasure tiles from a bag randomly. So in this case, your diver's going to get 1, 2, swim up, there's nothing there, swim up 3. So at the end of the game, he will swim all the way to the top. Now, if he was here and swum up, which you can't really place it here, but let me move a card around just to show you the difference. So in the other example, I got 3. In this example, he would swim up, and he would only get 2 because these cards don't have treasures on them. That's another way to score points. Now, the other way you have to worry about is these red, like bell-looking things. These are the Kraken. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn over a Kraken tile at the end of each round. Whoever has the most of these cards will get negative points. Now, these cards with the Kraken symbols are normally, if not always, the most powerful ones. I got 2 corals and a base on this one. On this one, I have 2 treasures. But the downside is you just don't want to have the most. You have the second most, that's fine. Nothing bad happens to you. So there's a few ways to score, a few things going on here. You have the animals, you have the coral, you have the treasure, you have the upgrading of your ship. All those things kind of go into it, and you want to keep the Kraken away. So that's Oceanos. That's how you kind of play it. You're going to end up with 3. What you're going to do is you're going to deal, let me go over a round really quick. So a round of the game is 5 turns, if you will. So you will draft 5 times playing those cards, and then you will do that 3 times. So there'll be 15 turns in a game. And that's kind of how the game plays. I don't know if I'm the best teacher of this game. I think if we were sitting down playing it, you would ask me a lot of questions. I'm not sure that I was very thorough. What I was hoping to do with the explanation was to showcase you some of the rules. After you read the rule book, you may have some questions about how this stuff kind of works. The game is really unique because you have these cards coming at you, not necessarily what you want, but you're kind of drafting depending on how many you get to draw on a turn, and you place those out hoping to maximize your points. There's a few different ways to score points. There's some at the end of each round, and then there's some at the end of the game. The artwork is super cute. It's going to attract a lot of people in. I like how it feels like you're getting deeper and deeper into the ocean. That's really neat. I really like how you're building up your ship. That's really cool. You can focus on building up your ship. You can focus on the animals that you're able to put into your aquarium. You can put your coral reef together. You can try to minimize the Kraken. Or you can go scuba diving and try to get those treasures. Or all of the above. And there's 5 or 6 different ways that you're kind of placing this in within the confines of what you're actually able to draw. And when to use those fuel tokens, when to place 2 cards or even 3 cards can be an exercise in winning the game or losing. The points when we played were super close. In our game, it really came down to drawing those treasure tiles because the game was so close. If you would have drew a little bit better, you would have won. Now, I was somebody who used the treasure strategy, and I tried to go after that, and I came really back. I came back a lot at the end of the game because I drew like 5 or 6 of those, or 6 of those at the end of the game, and that was really exciting, trying to get enough points to come back. I ended up coming in dead last, but I mean, 4 points was the difference between winning and losing this game. 59 was the highest score, 55 was the lowest. It was really fun. I wonder how much of that's artificial because we're all trying to do the same thing, but it's a family game, so it can get away with it. Highly recommend this game, especially if you're wanting to play with some younger kids. I think 8, I don't know. I haven't played with an 8-year-old, but I think 8 may be pushing it. I think there's a little bit going on here. You just need to take it slow with them, explain the game, and then kind of walk them through their options. I think it's a little bit more difficult than it may seem. But I really enjoyed this game. I recommend it highly for a family game.